on a technical standpoint, XRP is on a bull mode and it is considering the price at 0.3, not 0.32, and that consolidation. This is indexed figure of BTC, Ether and XRP, and it is self-explanatory. The majority will be able to evaluate and understand the key points, but anyway, we are going to discuss through those critical points here in this video. And while we look through that and explain the technical side, don't just scratch your head and look around. Don't be stressed, because the fundamental side is also aligning very well. One study shows it as a hedge against this current health crisis. Another study says it's a long-term business model, and keep this in mind because it's going to get connected on many other documents as well. And this particular document kind of concludes that when we say that we can understand that utility is the end game, utility will give us the flywheel effect. It has not even started that war zone yet. That's for sure from this particular document. And then regulators are looking to embrace this technology, put out clear regulations, but the regulators are slow. Still, they are moving on to a positive direction. And the next one is kind of getting really cool because it shows New York regulator is fast tracking regulations for 10 cryptocurrencies. And this new regulatory clarity makes a Ripple statement more valid. It's in the green list for custody, not for listing. That is an important division there. It's in the green list for custody, not for listing. So that's why buy and hold and they can actually use it for their business model, based on their business model. So that is a key perspective which we can connect it with here. It also states it is not a speculative asset, it's business model based asset. And here it also states the actual tangible services like cross-border payments are the ones that are likely to have legs. We discussed about that previously, right? So when we come back here, it kind of makes us sure that this is happening. And that's why this is the opportunity of a lifetime. And if you're going to miss this, I don't have words to explain, but I can just say this: don't miss this one. Welcome to the Scientific Investor family, where we discuss crypto and science behind investing regularly. If you saw value for your time, please do hit that like button. And if you would like to support the channel, you can use the links in the description below for Patreon and PayPal. Patreon will allow you to get the same quality research and the same standards on different assets and for your portfolio itself. Now, when we jump back and look at this index itself, one of the key points to understand here from this index graph is that XRP gives the maximum return on your investment in terms of percentage, and it gives it to the real investors with nerves of steel. That's for sure, right? So you should be patient enough to reap those benefits. If you compare here, in the last cycle, Bitcoin was going to the upside. It was having the usual pumps and a correction, then pump, correction, and it was moving to the upside all the way during that bull mode or the bull run, right? During the markup, if you look at Ethereum, it was also doing the same. It pumped huge and then corrected, consolidated a bit, took some time, and then it started to the upside. Comparing Ethereum with BTC, yes, it's something like XRP. It pumped the highest than BTC, but it consolidated for a long time, and the BTC was again in a bull mode. But now when we consider XRP with these two, Ethereum and BTC, we can see when the two other currencies were going to the upside, XRP was consolidating and pushing out the impatient investors from this one. So the patient guys always stays in this, and this particular area where you get that pump out of the long-term resistance line kind of pushes the price towards the BTC area and then consolidates a bit, try to flirt with that particular level, and then boom, it went to the upside, reached to that of Ethereum, right? Near to that Ethereum, then consolidated, and again boom, it reached the peak of Ethereum as well. Now when you actually come back and look at XRP alone in this one, you can understand the price was here, the long-term resistance, if you put that line, it will be aligning with these tops here, and now we have actually made it outside. Now if you compare the volume as well, the volume here, it was peaking here near to that previous all-time highs, And then moving to the upside. So if you compare that with Ether or other currencies, you can understand the previous volume was here and now the volume is soaring like this, and again it's moving to the upside. Now if you look at the previous all-time high for Ether, it's 1396 and currently the price is around 390. So if you look at the return on your investment from this point to the all-time highs, what will be the best option to buy, whether it's XRP, whether it's BTC or other assets? There is no question for that, right? If you're looking at the return on investment, there is no other question for that. This is a research article which is published recently, and it highlights cryptocurrencies or digital assets are being used as a hedge against the current pandemic. The current pandemic has pushed the economy to the backside, and now it's trying to grind to the upside, but central banks are coming out, printing out as much as cash as possible, and at the same time gold is rallying to the upside. Now this is the perspective of this guy, showing that gold doesn't really have any intrinsic value, but it's really arguable, based on investors' perspective, mentality. It's being there from thousands of years and investors believe in that asset. So similar to that of fiat currency, it's only the belief in that particular asset, right? So it's still arguable. Now when we look at this particular emerging asset class like digital assets, it's not a speculative investment, and he shows that speculative investments came and have gone throughout the history, and we can understand speculation is a part of this thing. It's not like only the utilities kicking in, because the document here confirms we analyze the current stage of use of Ripple system, and our results show that most users in Ripple seem inactive and that Ripple is still not being widely used as a trade platform. Now look back at the chart and understand these fluctuations which we had previously were without that utility. Now when the speculative investments comes in, the price move to the upside when we get that volatility and the flywheel effect of utility. That would be the moment where the return on your investment would even skyrocket than this technical analysis, because in technical analysis you are looking at the past, assessing those price points and trying to forecast the future. But keep this in mind, previously we didn't have that utility, and that utility never came together with the speculative investment markup or the bull mode. Now if those together are coming in this market cycle, that's going to be really huge. Now why I say that? CFTC is looking to develop the final stages of regulation for digital assets from 2020 to 2024, and one of the first steps we saw it from the OCC stating banks can hold digital assets in United States, right? And the next one from New York regulator comes out like this. They are coming out with a green list in which they are showing for 10 digital assets, and XRP is in the first list for custody. Now when we say that, keep this in mind, XRP and ETC are not approved for listing, but in the sentences provided below we can understand crypto companies can create a coin listing or adoption policy tailored to their specific business model and risk profile. If approved by the DFS, the company would be able to self-certify the listing or adoption of a new coin in addition to those in green list. So this is already in the green list for listing, and Ripple XRP is already in the custody. Now if that company want to list that, it should be comparatively easy for them. Instead of introducing a new coin, it would be easy for them to introduce XRP itself in the listing. So that's kind of clear there. Meanwhile, the US Senate has confirmed Hester Pierce, usually we call crypto mom as another term there. So the positive side for crypto assets and the opportunity is increasing. Now this is just a quote from MacAttack XRP showing is an opportunity of a lifetime. Looking at this XRP separately, it really looks like an opportunity of a lifetime. Now if we just consider this as the previous all-time high and the price is just going to the previous all-time high from the current level, that is more than 15x of your money, right? But always understand that when a speculative asset moves into a bull mode, human psychology and money tries to push it to the next level. I would actually like to compare it with XRP and silver. I completely agree with the DIY investing here. It looks similar, and there are a lot of price points, the technical points, where we can understand that the investor's perspective looks similar. And if this area is correct, yeah, we may see a bit of pullback, but that shows us the potential to the upside. The price may actually move much higher. Now I have actually prepared some charts here Now this is a video, I don't know whether I'll show you guys. If I have time, I'll actually go through that. Now this is a chart of silver on a monthly. You can understand the price went to the upside. It had particular resistance levels. It came back down. It was being supported at one level. You can see that this particular area here, the price was supported there, but the wick actually went from that $14 mark all towards the $11.7. So that's for silver, right? So on a monthly candle, if you look, the close was just above that zone, but it wicked way below. Now on a daily one, if you look, the price went below that, took out all those stop losses there, kicked out a lot of investors who were investing from all these time trying to accumulate with higher leverage. It actually kicked them out, and then the price started moving to the upside. Now if you really compare XRP with that, say this is the monthly candle for XRP, and if you look at this particular area, if we just put a rectangle here for a bit more clarity, you can understand this. This was the previous area of support, and on a monthly we are still above that. We only wicked below, but it managed to close to the upside. If we compare that with the silver, you can see something similar, and then the price moving to the upside. So if you compare that, now here also the price is moving to the upside. So that is actually a positive sign, along with the MACD and RSI confirming the same. MACD is ready to cross in just next month. When we open, we can understand that MACD is crossed to the upside, and that gives a bullish symbol. Now that's on a monthly, right? If we move on to a weekly chart for XRP and look at the price action, we can understand the similar thing. We were coming to the bottom, like we have to compare that with the silver daily weekly chart here, and the daily for XRP. On silver's weekly, you can see it went to the top. It made that all-time high, and that's, you know, just 500% for silver, a traditional asset in terms of 2 years. And then understand majority would be trading this asset class with leverage x2, x5, depends on your risk tolerance. And then it actually retraced 76-77%, a traditional asset retracing 77%. So you can't say crypto is volatile. Crypto, yeah, it kind of retraces 97%, but still this is a significant pullback from that top. Now when the price actually came back below here, it kind of consolidated in this particular area for a long time, and just before it started its bull run, it kind of kicked out by making this wick to the downside. If you compare that with XRP, you can see the price came down. It was consolidating in that particular area, and then it started moving to the downside. It showed a false symbol that it is going to the upside by breaking this previous high at this point, but it was a fake out, and then it came below and wicked, kicked out a lot of weak hands there. If they were not using leverage, that's kicking out the weak hand, and if they were using leverage, it's hitting those stop losses, and now it seems it's going to the upside. If we compare here, we were getting a fake out, right? It went to the upside, it was pushed down immediately, whereas here we are currently getting a flag like position at the time when we are getting a golden cross on a daily. So if the price is being able to be pushed by the buyers to the upside again, 0.2, 0.32, 0.34 range, it's going to shoot up towards 0.5. Now that's a technical standpoint, right? And then comparing back with this one with XRP and silver, it's kind of clear that the upside is not limited for XRP. Now in this one, states have authority to fine or jail people who refuses coronavirus vaccine. Now that's not directly related to these, but I just wanted to highlight. I was actually intending to show you guys that at the end of this video, but I kind of messed up with that. But just to say, keep this in mind. This is just there is no freedom anymore, or it is like the freedom of this. They'll put it this way, like it's the freedom of others. You can't, if you don't take this, you are a threat to the society. That's cool, right? It's changing into that manner. Now, coming back to the topic, XRP will be one of the few crypto assets to survive, says Pantera. If we understand Pantera group, they were always there on XRP. They are really high on XRP. They used to invest in this one. And quoting them, I think Ripple has done a great job. Now, do you have a doubt about that? I don't. If you have that, do let me know in the comment section below. Now, they are one of the big enterprises in our business, and they have hundreds of engineers building a lot of code and shipping code. And they are doing it in a little bit of a different way. I know there's a lot of pursuits in the industry that get almost religious about, oh, it's not only decentralized, or it's not whatever. It's same thing with the central bank coins. They are not decentralized, but we'll need that too, right? I see a world here we have 8 or 10 really important blockchain. 10 years from now, XRP is going to be one of them. So they are also looking at a long term investment perspective, say 10 years, right? And we can understand governments are looking at regulations till 2024. Ripple's market maturity target is 2025, and the adoption of digital assets, central bank digital currencies, would be completed kind of by 2030. And when they say top 10, you can see the top 10 predictions from the New York regulator, and XRP is being pushed in there into the custody range, and this is kind of confirming that yes, it's gonna be there after decades. And on top, now this is another one showing Wells Fargo to pilot dollar-linked stablecoin for internal settlements. Now keep this in mind, that is for internal settlements, not changing from one ledger to another in different corporations, say from one bank, that's bank A, to bank B, if they are doing that. And if bank A is in one country and bank B is another country, they have to actually change it from one fiat to another, either digital fiat or just the current fiat. They already need a bridging system. As we discussed in a couple of videos back, we showed you the document that Bank of America directly showing in a patent that there is to be credit loans, and these credit loans can be pushed from one asset to another, saying one credit loan from one digital asset or a fiat currency to another, where you actually need a bridge asset. And that kind of steps in with these central banks effort here to this swap lines, because swap lines between large economies, say from US, UK and Europe and other areas, we can find that this is pre-existing, and whenever there is a requirement for the reserve currency, they have to actually fund it. Now if you directly jump into the conclusion of this particular paper here, it's actually a long document, but when you jump into the conclusion here, you can understand that cross-currency funding imbalances always happen, and it is the swap line which kind of controls that. And at the same time, you have to understand USD has to be there, funded there in different countries, different currencies, and that. And in that particular aspect, that's where this particular video would be giving you that end game kind of thing. If you're following George Gammon, this would be a really interesting video for you guys. Dollar reserve currency status end game. He kind of explains that swap lines very clear. I was reading through that document which I showed you just now about the swap lines and dollar, and how the reserve currency is to be changed, or the change is coming. And the example he sets here is with Bank of Japan. And at the bottom he actually shows you that Bank of Japan and then operations from Japan. And if you just look at that, one thing is for sure, right? Japan, 80% of the banks are ready, and the corporations are kind of ready to adopt XRP as a fiat there for bridging their digital fiat. So that's kind of an end game for the reserve currency status of the dollar. So looking both at the fundamental and the technical side, it is clear that the maximum return which you would be getting in this market cycle, probabilities are that it would be XRP. And looking at the fundamentals, if you are a long-term investor who's ready to invest for next 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, you are going to be here and your name would be there from a long time. No one would forget your name. They'll currently, while the market is like this and the others are going up, they will say, you kind of suck. You don't know to make profits in this market. Don't care about that. If it's to me, I'll just neglect that, because I can see this history and the fundamentals. So I'll be full on the investment what I have made, and I understand the investment on I stand tall on this one. So guys, that's all for today, and if you like the video, do support the channel, hit that like button, and if you have extra 5 minutes, do visit that Patreon link and see if it's possible for you guys to support the channel. I'll meet you guys on the next video. Bye for now.